Hello, welcome to Living and Learning. I'm Allison Kinnear. Sorry I'm jumping on a little bit late, but I just had a client. Every Wednesday at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, I jump onto Facebook Live and do a quick little talk about living and learning. So today we are talking about emotional labor and what that is, how that shows up in our life, and what we can do about this. So really quick, emotional labor is the labor that we do when we are taking care of other people's feelings, when we are putting ourselves in the position of making sure everybody around us is doing well and is happy, or when we are taking responsibility for the happiness of others. Emotional labor can also look like us putting on one mask of emotion when really underneath we're feeling something different. Why is this important? Well, this is for those of us who are peacekeepers, who are the peacekeepers in our families, who are the empathic ones, who maybe have big hearts and are always caring about the emotions of other people. This can be a work that we fall into really naturally. And sometimes it's not an issue. Carrying that emotional labor is something that we are often, rewarded for. We find it rewarding. We can be the person that everyone comes to talk to, that we're good listeners. These are all things that can be just fine. It doesn't necessarily mean that we need to take it on and feel like it's something draining us. However, sometimes it does drain us. So let me give you an example of what it is and when emotional labor is fine and healthy and wonderful, and times when emotional labor can be more destructive for us. So when my parents come to visit, I know that my mom in the morning really loves to have bananas, and my stepdad drinks a lot of coffee. So I want to make sure that they're happy and they feel comfortable when they're here. So I always make sure to buy extra bananas and to get the coffee pot out, not the French press, but we're like going for the big coffee, because I want them to feel happy and comfortable when they're here. It's something I take pleasure in. It's not a problem. When my family celebrates Christmas, so Christmas morning, I want to make sure that it feels magical and everyone's like feeling good and the kids are feeling excited and everything is kind of moving happily. Well, I have no problem with that. And so I might do something a little bit extra so that people feel that extra little spark on Christmas, because when they get excited, I get excited. That's emotional labor, and it doesn't necessarily mean it's a problem. However, it can be a problem when we are shoving our feelings of resentfulness and not saying what it is that we're actually feeling. So, for example, it might look like seeing somebody who comes over as a guest, and seeing them kind of frowning or, arms crossed or kind of checked out, and me thinking, what did I do? What did I do to cause that reaction? What can I do to get them to appear happy? That kind of stuff can really spin you out mentally, spin you out emotionally, spin you out energetically. Another thing can be, let's say when it comes to the holidays, it's one thing to kind of be like, I want to do this because I know it's kind of fun and everyone likes it and I like it and it's just a delight to do, as opposed to, well, I guess we have to do this thing because this is what tradition is, and nobody else really seems to care, but they all seem to get mad at me if I don't do it. That's when emotional labor is costing, when it has a cost, when it's not exactly contributing. And all this means, if you've watched any of these videos, if you have been a client of mine, if you have heard any of my talks, one thing that you will know is that when how we are feeling, when our body is like holding on to anger, holding on to resentment, holding on to sadness, holding on to something, and we are not in alignment, we are not expressing those things, when we are trying to kind of shove it down and just like, I'll put on the happy face, but deep down, I'm so angry at you. It's like, if we're doing any of that, then we are complicit in that toxic dynamic. We actually are a part of that dynamic. I was just talking about, we teach people how to treat us. This is the work that we do. We teach people how to treat us. And some people will be empathic just like we are, and they will be able to pick up the signs of what we're giving and know we're not okay with what's happening. But other people either cannot pick up those signs or they choose to ignore them. Either way, we have to be mindful of when we are carrying emotional labor that is either not ours to carry, or we can name the emotional labor so we can actually make a difference. I have a family member who tends to be very introverted and can come across in a very stoic way. And so what I would get was like super anxious whenever that person would come over, because I would feel like, this person's not happy, this person's not happy. But once I was able to kind of have a discussion about it, and it's like, no, that's just kind of like, actually, they're really happy. They're not exactly expressive like you are. Then it was like, okay, then I can let this go. I don't have to expect that they're going to show their happiness and joy in the way that I show my happiness and joy. And then vice versa. When it comes to, if we get all little red henny, I can do it all myself. And I guess I'm going to do all these things. And whether, I'm only going to get attacked for it and I'm not actually enjoying what I'm doing, well, then we can name that. And we can have an honest discussion. I know this is tradition. In our family, we've always done it this way. And I have to be honest with you, I'm having a lot of resentment about this. And so can we have a conversation about what this looks like and who's in charge of it? So that it's not just like, well, screw you, I'm not going to do this, and you walk out. But it's also not you sucking it up and just plowing through it again. But rather that there's an honest conversation about what's happening. These are ways that we can navigate that emotional labor, and so that it can fulfill us and not be draining to us. That is what I leave you with. The other thing I leave you with is we have 5 more days, boundaries for the holidays. If this work speaks to you, if you find yourself carrying that mental load that we talked about last week, you caring about everybody else's feelings and wind up feeling resentful yourself, this is the work that's going on with Boundaries for the Holidays. I encourage you to sign up. It's $250. It's 6 weeks. It's like my greatest hits. We are going deeply into this work. And if having conversations with loved ones around setting boundaries, or even knowing what the heck your boundaries are, this is a great class to help walk you through it. I'm keeping the price really low. This is my first time doing a webinar in this way. So it's really helpful information that I gain to make sure that the content that I'm giving out is really landing with you. I know it lands with my clients one-on-one, but I want to make sure it lands with the group as well. Anyway, I wish you a full week of living and learning. Be mindful of the emotional labor that you are doing in your life and just take note of it. You don't have to change anything. Just notice when you are in it, when you are trying to take care of other people's emotions, or if you are taking care of people's emotions and feeling resentful about it, or if you're loving it. Either way. And feel free to comment down below about it. Allie, thank you for tuning in. Amanda, my mom, hello. Thank you so much for watching. And I will see you all next week. Take care. Bye.